In 1997, the most powerful underwater microphone system ever built recorded something. A sound so loud it was heard across the entire Pacific Ocean. Over 5,000 kilometers, scientists ran every analysis they had. The conclusion was immediate and unanimous. It was biological. It came from a living creature. But here is the problem. No known animal on Earth is large enough to produce a sound that powerful. Not blue whales. Not giant squid. Nothing we know of. They named it the Bloop. And 27 years later, the source has never been officially identified. Sound travels differently underwater than in air. It travels faster, further, and in certain conditions, it can travel thousands of kilometers without losing intensity. The ocean has what scientists call a sofa channel, a layer of water at specific depth where sound gets trapped and amplified naturally, like a giant speaker built into the ocean itself. The US Navy discovered this during the Cold War and built a network of underwater microphones called hydrophone arrays to listen for Soviet submarines. But what they started hearing wasn't submarines. The hydrophone network picked up dozens of unexplained sounds throughout the 1990s. Scientists gave them names. The ups, the whistle, the train, the slowdown. Each one biological in origin. Each one from a source too large to identify. Each one still unexplained. But none of them compared to what they recorded on May 19, 1997. At 50 degrees south latitude, 100 degrees west longitude, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The Bloop. The Bloop lasted approximately 1 minute. It rose rapidly in frequency. It was detected simultaneously by hydrophones over 5,000 kilometers apart. To be heard at that distance, with that intensity, the source would need to be extraordinarily large. Larger than any known creature. Scientists compared it to blue whale calls. Blue whales are the loudest animals on Earth. The Bloop was thousands of times more powerful than a blue whale call. Thousands of times. Here is what makes it truly disturbing. The location where the Bloop was recorded. 50 degrees south, 100 degrees west. Scientists pulled out their maps. They cross-referenced the coordinates, and they found something that made the room go silent. The Bloop originated approximately 1,500 kilometers from the location of R'lyeh. R'lyeh is the fictional, sunken city from H.P. Lovecraft's stories. The home of Cthulhu, a creature so massive it makes the ocean floor shake when it moves. Lovecraft wrote these stories in 1928, decades before hydrophones existed, decades before anyone could record sounds from the ocean floor. How did he know? In 2012, NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, released an official statement. They said the Bloop was caused by large icebergs fracturing and grinding against each other near Antarctica. Case closed. Explanation given, but scientists who study underwater acoustics immediately pointed out the problems. Icequakes do not produce biological sound signatures. The frequency pattern of the Bloop does not match any known icequake recording. And icebergs near Antarctica do not explain a sound originating in the middle of the Pacific. The official explanation raised more questions than it answered. And the Bloop is not alone. In 1991, hydrophones recorded something called Julia, a sound lasting 15 seconds that resembled a human voice saying a name. Scientists could not identify the source. In 1997, the same year as the Bloop, they recorded the slowdown, a sound that decreased in frequency over 7 minutes before disappearing completely. Like something descending, going deeper, away from the microphones. In 1999, they recorded the train, a continuous low-frequency sound with no identifiable source that lasted 4 hours. All biological, all unidentified, all still unexplained. We have been listening to the ocean for over 60 years, with the most sophisticated equipment ever built. And in those 60 years, we have recorded dozens of sounds that our best scientists cannot explain. Sounds that are biological. Sounds that come from creatures larger than anything we have cataloged. Creatures that live in the 95% of the ocean we have never explored. In depths where pressure would destroy any vehicle we have built. In darkness where our cameras cannot reach. Think about what that means right now as you watch this video. Something is moving through the darkness below the Pacific Ocean. Something large enough to produce a sound heard across 5,000 kilometers. Something that has been down there long enough to evolve beyond our understanding. Something that our best scientists looked at the evidence for and said, we do not know what this is. And then quietly changed the subject. The ocean is not silent. It is full of sounds we cannot explain. Voices from a world we cannot access. Signals from creatures we have never seen. And somewhere in the darkness, something made a sound in 1997 that shook the entire Pacific. Something that has not been heard since. Something that, perhaps, realized it was being listened to and went quiet. Do you believe the bloop came from an unknown creature? Or do you think the official explanation is correct? Tell me in the comments. And if the idea of something that large living beneath us keeps you up at night, follow Marine Mister, because the ocean has sounds we haven't told you about yet.